وكتائب القسام باقية وفصائل العمل الوطني كل فصائل المقاومة موجودة غصب عن نتنياهو.
One thing is clear to everyone. War has never brought peace to anyone. Rather, war has brought bloodshed and killing of people before our eyes. But war has brought the tears of the defeated and the joy of the victors. A bloody war that lasted for 15 months, more than 1,000 Palestinian lives lost, and Israeli bombs turned the Gaza Strip into ruins. But in the end, Israel bowed its head before Hamas. Why did this happen? Why did one of the most modern military powers in the world lose to a small resistance movement? Even Netanyahu is no longer the prime minister. His government is collapsing. What happened all of a sudden? How did Hamas, with their limited strength, force an unstoppable Israel to retreat? And how is this ceasefire going to break the whole of Israel? Let's find out in today's analysis. Israel, the country that claims to be one of the most unstoppable military powers in the world, has now been forced to sit at the negotiating table with Hamas. After a bloody war of 15 months, Israel has gradually retreated in the face of resistance in Gaza. The Gaza Strip, which was once a ruin for Israel, is now a symbol of shame for them. According to the terms of the agreement, Israel will withdraw its troops step by step. This scene is a symbol of the surrender of an invincible power. However, the signs of Israel's defeat do not end here. The prisoner exchange condition is another big blow for Israel. In exchange for the release of one Israeli prisoner, 40 to 50 Palestinian prisoners will have to be released. Many of those released are brave fighters who have been imprisoned in Israeli prisons for years. Some have been imprisoned for 30 to 40 years. They were counting their days in the darkness of prison, dreaming of freedom.
Ya Rab. Allahu Akbar.
Their release will give new courage to the new generation to resist. This agreement has become a humiliating chapter for Israel. After failing on the battlefield, it had to be discussed on the world stage. Finally, they were forced to come to an agreement with Hamas. Despite all this agreement is not just a paper signature. Each step of this agreement will be a new chapter of shame for Israel. Israel will withdraw its troops from Gaza in stages during the 42-day ceasefire. This ceasefire will bring a new opportunity for displaced Palestinians to return home. They will return to their homes in northern Gaza. Second, the release of hostages. In this phase, Hamas will release 33 Israeli hostages, including women, children, and men over the age of 50. Israel will release 30 Palestinian prisoners held since October 2023 in exchange for each hostage, especially women and children under the age of 19.
وكتائب القسام باقية وفصائل العمل الوطني كل فصائل المقاومة موجودة غصب عن نتنياهو. هذا وقف اطلاق نار شامل وكامل ان شاء الله ولا رجع للحرب غصب عنه باذن الله تعالى. اعتماد الغفير ولا سموتريتش استقيل احسن لك. كتائب القسام باقية غصب عن اجدادك.
Third, humanitarian aid will enter Gaza every day. 600 trucks of relief supplies, including 50 fuel trucks, will be allocated. In addition, 300 trucks will bring new hope to the devastated lives of the people for work. Then a new phase of negotiations will begin. Within 16 days of the first phase, a proposal for a permanent ceasefire and negotiations on the release of the remaining hostages will begin. The second phase will see the start of the reconstruction of Gaza and the return of the remaining bodies. Most importantly, this agreement is not just a victory for the resistance. It is a promise for every Palestinian to rise again.
هذه الساعات اللي استناها من سنة وسنة ونص
احنا بنعيش اللحظات هذه قاعدين ما حدش بيحس بالشعور اللي احنا عايشين فيه.
طب ايش شعورك لحظة اعلان وقفة الاطلاق؟
شعور لا يوصف، شعور لا يوصف. بتروح هسه، بتروح على الشجاعية حبلاتي. شجاعية 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 شجاعية.
Victory, or defeat on the battlefield, is never based solely on the number of casualties. The real victory belongs to the side that can achieve its stated goals. Israel tried to wipe out Hamas with its sophisticated military power, but failed. Even U.S. President Joe Biden said that Hamas is becoming stronger through this agreement. The ceasefire agreement has brought about a total failure and a terrible political crisis for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. Hardline leader Belgavir and his ministers have threatened to dissolve the government if the agreement goes into effect. As a result, Netanyahu's government is on the verge of collapse in the face of disagreements in the cabinet and public pressure. However, the question remains, will this ceasefire usher in a lasting peace, or will it create the shadow of a new conspiracy? Time will tell whether history will speak of a Palestinian victory, or whether this peace will once again turn into a bloody conflict.
একটি কথা সকলের কাছেই স্পষ্ট, যুদ্ধ কখনো কাউকে শান্তি দিতে পারেনি, বরং যুদ্ধ দিয়েছে রক্ত, খুনাখুন আর চোখের সামনে মানুষকে হত্যা করা। তবে যুদ্ধ দিয়েছে পরাজিতদের কান্না আর বিজয়ীদের উল্লাস।